All right, for those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Cathie Allan. I've been rubber stamping for 30 years. I've been using ClearSnap products as long as they've been out. I love this company and I love what we have. Oh, you're my favorite already. I do tend to focus on pigment ink. And the reason I like pigment ink is because I've been stamping that long, and I had a store for a very long time. Anything I did in dye-based ink, after about 6 months, we had to take it down because we could see so much fading, right? So once I started sticking to pigment-based inks, that just gave my projects longevity. We're going to be using, of course, fluid chalk, and it is a blend. It's pigment and dye, so it has qualities of both. So we're going to be using that, but we're also going to be using these wonderful, gorgeous little bottles called Smooch in as many fun and delightful ways as we can possibly, pardon me? No, these ones have been around a while. These ones have been around a while. Okay. The card that we're going to be doing, of course, is this one. You do have a postcard. On the back of it is your instructions, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to begin, and in front of you, you're going to find a two-sided stamp. Okay, it's got the open image on one side and the flat image on the other side. You're going to start with the flat image, okay? And you're going to pull your yellow citrus fluid chalk ink, okay? We're going to be using the solid one. I want the solid one, not the open one. I'll stamp it once and you can see it. You'll be able to see which image we're using. And we're going to be using Smackdown. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stamp and I'm going to stamp like a normal person, and then I'm going to think of the stamp as an applicator. Smear it around. My very young son, who had no patience, could do this. And it is simply applying the ink and thinking applicator and not image. You are applying areas of color. How cool is that? Okay, watch again, stamp it, and when you migrate, don't migrate too far. Work around that image. Just work that image, work that image, work that image. Okay, and have some fun with it. Ta-da. End result is pretty piece of paper. Isn't that fun? And this is just background. Now, most of the ink is gone off there, and we are moving from light color to a darker color. You may want to put a little bit of that yellow in that little square there, because we're going to stamp, whatchamacallit, a hello or be my friend or something on there, I can't remember. Be happy. So get a little yellow in that little square that was in your package. Might as well get that done too. So get that one done. You can do it or just use the stamp. The stamp's an applicator right now, right? Oh, throw some yellow on it with the stamp. The stamp's an applicator. Yep. There you go. Help each other. Okay, good. Get some yellow on there. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So you want to get some on there. Once you do that, I'm just going to add a little bit there on this side. See? No, you can't screw this up. There. There's mine. A little bit of yellow on that. A little bit of yellow on that. You can't do it wrong. But because I'm going to move from a lighter color to a darker color, we're going to move to lime pastel, I usually don't clean. Okay? If I'm going from black to yellow, oh my God, yes, clean. Just, that's common sense. But when moving from light to dark, don't worry about it. And I'm simply going to take my lime pastel and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to take that green, set it down, and work that stamp pad. Work that stamp. Work it, work it, work it, work the edges, smack it down. The stamp is not a stamp, it is now an applicator. And of course, do you want to put a little bit of green on your little thingamybobby? Because I've got the word panel. This way, there you go. Apply some ink, add a little bit of green to that panel as well. Okay, I haven't done it yet, but you do want to get a little bit of green on that panel as well. Now we're going to have some fun. Now we're going to have some fun. All right, those of you who took the class with me yesterday, this is your stylus with your foam tips. I refer to it as the paintbrush for stamp pads. Okay, I can do things with this that painters that work with oil paints and acrylic paints, what they do with their brushes, I do with this tool. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to combine. This is my favorite, my absolute favorite embossing medium. Why? because it doesn't leave the stamp sticky and it washes off with water. Use this for 30 years, love this puppy. But it also multitasks. I like products that multitask. When you apply it to paper, it acts as an extender because it seals and finishes that paper, which allows us to play with other toys. So watch me use, this is now Top Boss. It is your clear embossing medium, but right now it's not going to be that. It actually should say extender on it because that's how I'm going to use it, okay? So take that and I'm going to put some onto a foam tip. I'm prepping the foam tip. And now, with that done, I'm actually going to prep one side of my paper. I'm sealing this edge. Because what I want to do is take this wonderful smooch ink that dries how fast? Instant. But I don't want it to dry instant. I want it to stay wet longer, so I want to change its nature. So by putting some Top Boss on the paper and then putting this onto the prepared foam tip, and it's going to have a lot on there, I'm going to actually turn it into a watercolor medium. Okay? Simply by adding my green onto my foam tip and stretching it out, which is going to delay the drying time and it's going to allow me to do this to my edges. You're going to do it to all edges? I'm going to go to all 4 edges. You're going to change the nature. I do one side at a time. Now you're going to love, isn't that fun? So we've used smooching, how many ways so far? 1. Now this one, I love doing this one. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the smooch, give it a shake. Which one? I'm going to use pumpkin. Okay? You could put any color on, but I've used pumpkin for this particular project. And inside, there is a large spritz bottle and it's got water in it. Okay, so I'm going to stand that up. And now what this product is going to be, it's going to do my spraying for me. I'm just going to take some out and I'm going to lay it on the block. And I'm going to now add the water that the company so generously add to the product in the bottle. Okay, so just spritz it a little bit. Nice. And then you're going to use, you can use a Q-tip, but I prefer to use the applicator God gave me. Okay, and smear that around. What does that kind of look like? Looks like spray, doesn't it? Because it is spray when you go.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you can do to your whole page. You can now spray. You have control of where your spray goes. You're not going to spray her project, which is really fun. And all you're going to do is stamp that over your entire page. Okay, so we've used smooch as a watercolor. Now we've turned our smooch into spray. Okay. Awesome, 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 awesome. And what are you going to add to your little panel that's going to have Be Happy on it? You're going to add some to the little panel as well, yes. Okay, so we've used it in a couple of ways. All right, we're going to set that piece aside to dry. Set them aside, don't lose them, and now we're going to play with your die cut. We're going to alter this die cut in a really fun way. Now first off, we're going to alter the die cut. We're going to need another paintbrush, so get one of your styluses, and you're going to need your black pigment stamp pad. Look what it says on it now. Yay, Clear Snap, archival. The most archival, most stable, most light, fast, medium on the market. This is what artists are after. That's why they're after pigmented pencils. That's why we're after pigmented stamp pad. This is what gives our projects longevity, okay? But it has, remember, pigment ink, classic pigment ink has a lot of characteristics that we can use to alter other mediums, right? So this particular pigment ink stays wet longer. So what we're gonna do, let's make this beautiful Sizzix die cut black. Notice when I cut die cuts for classes wherever I go, I don't cut them in different colors. I make my die cuts whatever I want with Clear Snap ink. With Clear Snap ink, I don't have to run around and find the perfect color of cardstock. I have the ability to make it so. To set that ink, we're going to iron it. It's added another layer, but I want to iron it. So take it, throw it between, yep, it's hot. Throw it between the paper towel that I have by the iron. Always put a clean piece. When you're working, well, the black we don't have to worry because we're all working with black. But when you're ironing and setting ink, if you've got lots of colors on there and light colors, make sure you're putting a clean piece of paper towel or a clean piece of newsprint on top so you're not transferring ink. And all you're going to do is iron that for about, I don't know, 5-6 seconds. And we're setting it. But I'm only actually ironing it for a little bit of time. I don't know, it's all going to be the same by the time we're done, because we're not done yet. Now that we've added this to our die cut, we could leave it like this. This is cool, but why wouldn't we take smooch? Now this is why we gave you guys Q-tips. I'm going to use the applicators God gave me because they like being different colors. Okay. So I'm going to use all 3 of my colors to do this. Give it a shake. And now they're going to do some marbling. Because the pigment ink, even though we've ironed it, has added that extra coat, it's going to allow me to apply the yellow just like I did and pounce it with my finger. Look at that. How much fun is that? So this is what you're going to begin to do using your favorite applicator. You're going to sparkle marble up your die cut, and you're going to end up with something like that. How much? Pardon me? I just use my finger, yeah. Fingers can't be lost. So look at all the things we've done with smooch. So look at all the pieces that we've done. Should we alter ribbon with smooch? Definitely. Of course we should. I'm going to alter this ribbon. Look at how for those of you who were with me yesterday, how am I going to alter the ribbon? With a stylus, and I'm using the tangerine fluid chalk. Love, love, love the fact that my fluid chalk will alter ribbon, will alter canvas. It's a multi-surface ink, even though it's pigment and dye. The combination of the blended inks allows me to do so much. And one of those things is I can alter any color of ribbon. So why would I buy colored ribbons when I can just buy a light color, white or cafe, and alter it with my fluid chalk? So we're going to deepen it and add shimmer to it by just taking the tangerine right to it, the carrot, and pumpkin up that ribbon as well. There we go. You're going to need your embossing powder next. And we're going to use the black pigment ink as well. So for those of you that are ready to go, how many of you know how to stamp an image and emboss it? Good. That's what I want you to do. Take that open image, this one here, can you see it? There's that open image. I want you to ink it with black pigment ink. Why are we using black pigment ink?
So it stays wet long enough for the embossing powder to
So
stick.
it will grab. Yay, she gets to go to the head of the class. So we use pigment ink to emboss with because it has that extended open time, so the embossing powder will grab it. So I'm going to stamp my image onto that square piece of paper. There you go. And you're going to apply. So you want to pick up one of the heat guns and emboss your image. Because now we're going to play with the smooch. We're going to paint within the lines with smooch. So we've used smooch as a watercolor. We've used smooch as a spray. We've used smooch to antique our edges. We've used smooch for a spray. I've lost track. Now we're going to use smooch how it was originally intended to be used. So if we take that foam tip that we reserved for Top Boss, apply the Top Boss to the entire embossed image. Pick up, I don't care if you start on the outside of the image or in the inside of the image. I'm just going to throw this, look at how quick this is. It's going to stay nice and wet. Now you guys are going to use a Q-tip. I'm going to use what?
Your finger.
My finger, because God gave it to me. When I take the pumpkin, I'll do this a couple of times. I'm going to add the pumpkin just to the edge. Grab a Q-tip and look at this. Look at, we can pull it and 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 pull it so it blends together. Okay? And of course you're going to cut it out. That's what you're going to end up with. Okay? And when you cut it out, I don't know about you guys, but I always tell my students to cut outside the line, lead a halo. It makes it easier for them, makes the cutting task less difficult, and it actually helps pop your image from your background. Now what you can do, once you get there, you can assemble. So now you're going to assemble your card. The punch is there so that you can punch 2 holes on either side so you can add your ribbon. I used a combination of 2-sided thin tape and foam tape to put it together. You guys have been awesome.
Thank you.
And we did it in 45 minutes. Woohoo! Are we good?